We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
When I think about those nights in Montreal, all I think about is weed. Memories of city lights and packing bowls.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to CannaBitches Connection with me and my bitch, Loretta. Say good morning.
Oui, comment ça va?
Right. So I'd like to mention also that we're on the I'm on unceded land too, I'm finding out. It's unceded territory of the Tanaha, the Silks, the Sikra, and the Kootenay. So the names have changed.
Well, I am on the unceded territory of the Canadian Kahaka, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, Huron, Wenda, Anishinaabe, and Mohawk.
Woohoo! Really? That's
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
So,
I learned that the other night.
Junkies, babe, for us political junkies, you know, this has been a hard time. How have you been? How have you been coping? I mean, these are hard times for us.
Well, you know, we didn't have the show last week because of the long weekend. So happy long weekend. That was Labor Day long weekend. So we skipped last week. But I've been involved in the liberal campaign out here, and it's been fucking brutal. To be fair, we've had men walking into the office berating our candidate. We've had all our signs pretty much knocked down, stolen. We've been spit on, yelled at. Yeah, what else do you want to know? It's been disgusting. It's been disgusting. These party people are disgusting. I'm not even gonna lie. They're disgusting people. They're right-wing Christian fucking nutbags, and I'm finding out more and more of it as I see them come on our Cranbrook page because, you know, anti-vaxxing fucking rallies today again. But apparently they weren't that big. Apparently, the one in Vancouver had like 12 people at it.
I'm so grateful to Trudeau because I've been like saying these people who are harassing healthcare deserve to go to prison. Throw them in COVID prison. They won't need to wear a mask. And he has said that when he's elected, he will say it's a crime to do this to help. And it's so necessary. I mean, let's be honest. There is an explosion of craziness out there. Mental illness is like, you know, at an all-time high, perhaps worldwide. I was watching CNN earlier, and they're worried about another potential January 6th event coming up in the next day or two. But I mean, here in Canada, we have like, you know, the fact that these anti-Vs, as I call them, not anti-Vs are like that, you know, anti-vaxxers, are harassing and threatening and, you know, and throwing stones at Trudeau. Like, it's just gotten so
and kicking windows and doors at hospitals and blocking people from getting access to a hospital. I guess it was it was a silent protest in Toronto where they all just stood there with their arms crossed with their, you know, and you know what I noticed in the crowd when I was looking at the crowd in Toronto? They were like a block away from Queen's Park where they could have just walked themselves. But you know what I noticed? I'm going to say this. It was all fucking white men.
Well, I've kind of noticed that in every event of theirs, whether it's been harassing and threatening Trudeau at his rallies, or every time I've seen footage on TV of doing protests in Calgary or whether it's in Toronto at hospitals, it's definitely a white thing. It's white grievance. It's this white grievance that
it's their white privilege.
Must have been there for 20, 30 years, but now they like, oh, we're protesters now. And so I'm really glad that he's
the same people that were calling us dirty hippies right?
There's a difference between a protester and criminal behavior, and
But
what
those
they're
are the same
doing, I
people,
think, is
to be fair. They were out calling us dirty hippies, telling us to keep off the streets. You guys are a bunch of potheads. Blah. Like, that's what I've been hearing too. Like, you bunch of potheads. And I'm like, yeah, we are. I says, you can thank cannabis consumers for helping you with healthcare and education because of the GST and PST that goes into that, into the general coffers. Because it's not allocated separately, I don't think. I think it's all GST and PST. I don't know if they put it into different coffers for different things. I don't know exactly how it works, but to me it would just be, going into the general coffers and going into all our infrastructure and everything. But to be fair, that brought in thousands of jobs.
Yeah.
Whether we like it or fucking not. Cannabis industry brought in thousands of jobs, licensed production sites, which also brought in thousands of jobs. And now there are thousands of stores across the country selling retail cannabis out the door, collecting GST and PST.
Billions of dollars.
Billions, right? And that's all going into the government coffers.
Yeah, for sure.
So how do you think Trudeau was able to give away all these, give away CERB and everything else? Oh, that might have possibly because it got so much money from the marijuana.
I would say that's a we.
Bon.
Mon
ami, right? Like, seriously.
The cannabis, très bon.
Right? But so when people say, what did Trudeau do? Well, I've got a list of other things, but cannabis industry, like a liquor industry, it's the same fucking thing. So it's bringing in billions and billions and billions of dollars. You're welcome, you stupid fuckers.
No, it's brutal out there, babe. It's totally hostile, and I don't know. Maybe the world has always gone through these incredibly chaotic, hostile, mentally ill times.
I should maybe brush my hair, and we should go live on TikTok or something. I'm not quite live on TikTok yet. I don't have quite 1,000 followers yet. You have to have 1,000 followers on TikTok, but I've got some videos that have gone pretty viral on TikTok. So.
I know. That's really awesome. That's awesome. Do you think the trick is that split scene?
Oh, no, I've got one that I did about Henry Morgenthaler that was just myself that's got over 2,000 views and likes and stuff too. Like, it's not 20,000 like the one with Jen.
I wish we could put them up here somehow. Like, I know that's, at the end of the show. I could
get Al to hook us up with StreamYard so we could do StreamYard too, so that we would both be live on video doing StreamYard, and we wouldn't just be able to see me.
For our hundreds of thousands of fans.
Maybe we get 100,000 fans if we get, we got on TikTok live. I don't know.
No, but I hope that somehow there's a merging, because I think it's fantastic that you've got all these viral videos. That's fabulous.
Well, it's funny because I didn't intend to become viral. And it wasn't like everyone does go viral, but I've got people that are actually following now, and it's like, what the fuck, and yeah.
That's awesome, babe. That's so cool. That's very cool. So on TikTok, how is how are politics? I'm not, I haven't. I've been off of it for a while, but how are politics playing out? What's your sense of it? Because it is a younger generation.
See, so we got some younger content makers. We've got some older content makers, and there's some that are mid, like 40, like in that 40 range. And a lot of them were, thinking they were going to vote NDP. To be fair, and there was a lot of hype about Jet Meat to begin with, and then they're seeing the numbers change. And they're seeing the Conservatives catching some traction. And to be fair, the PPC are going to split the vote for the Conservatives.
Yes, I know. That's the one thing that we could say.
I mean, not that they're going to get lots of them. I'm not saying that the PPCs might get, 17 votes. I don't know.
Do you think they'll get a seat? Like, they may get more of a seat than the Greens. The Greens seems to.
I don't know. There's, like I said, there's a lot of racists and bigots in our country, and they're all rolling out into the People's Party of Canada, right?
Yeah,
I mean, I couldn't believe the way the candidate that we've got here was speaking, and she's a woman, and it was just like when we were doing because I sat in on a debate on Friday night, because all the debates have been done via Zoom because of the COVID protocols. Now, because we've got our vaccine passport orders that went in today, we can have group gatherings now. Their mandates are off, but you have to be vaccinated or have the vaccine passport. So if you're unvaccinated, you can have a capacity of 150 people, but they all have to be vaccinated,
Yeah.
right? Okay, what the heck? Oh, it's the neighbor. I was thinking, who the heck's this big white truck? I'm not expecting my husband home. And it's not. I don't know, it's a neighbor. Sorry. But my window's open. It's like, oh, shiny. Something's shining outside. But to be fair, like I said, I don't think the People's Party are going to like really pick up any seats, to be fair. I think Jetmeat's going to pick up a couple more seats. I think we're going to lose a seat or two, to be fair. But then Alberta's got a lot of momentum out there right now. Not that it really matters because the numbers actually we know in Western Canada that by the time Ontario and Quebec have already voted, we're done. Like we already know that, right? By the time
hopefully the Libs will pick up a few more seats in Alberta, and I'm hoping Jagmeet picks up a few more seats. But I think
Jagmeet's going to lose his seat in British Columbia. To be fair, they're not happy with
it. I got put off by him saying that a minority Liberal and a minority Conservative are the same thing. I was so not happy with that, and also when he sided with O'Toole in the debate on one thing. But because I want a coalition between the NDP and the Liberals and the Greens. I don't want, it sucks. It sucks when, it just sucks when the
Jetmeat is not ready to run our country.
I feel like
he's too much branding and marketing.
Good, but he's
too much branding and marketing. Everything's and when I look at the NDP website, that's what it says at the bottom: marketing and branding. Okay, I know the Liberals branded too, Justin, but marketing and branding is on the front page of your NDP website. That just kind of turned me off too under policy. Like, I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I'm hoping. I'm hoping for a good outcome for the NDP and obviously for the Liberals as well. I think it's been a hell of a campaign for Trudeau. I mean, he's really. I wouldn't be surprised if he'd want to not be in politics, for too much longer because the way he's attacked is pretty disgusting.
Well, the way he's attacked all the time is pretty disgusting.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I just can't even fathom why people feel that they can get away with that. I don't see them doing that. I don't see them doing that to anybody else. You know what I'm saying? Like, to be fair, I'm taking my headset off. I can't deal with this anymore. It's hurting me. Hopefully that doesn't wreck the recording too much. But to be fair, nobody's chasing after O'Toole or even Jagmeet. And if anybody was slinging rocks at Jetmeat Singh, it would be a racial thing and it would be a hate thing and it would be on a whole different context because I'm going to say it because he's Sikh. And that's just because that would be the perception. And not that I'm saying that's true, right, or anything, but that would be the perception. Somebody started flinging rocks, or if the PPC was running after Jetmeet Singh, it would all be about race. Because they're running after Trudeau, it's okay.
I know there's this real... because race is such a tricky and prickly subject, just like in the debate, when the question about discriminatory policies was asked towards Blanchet, and the reaction is always that Quebec feels like they are being attacked and being called racist and that they're inferior. It goes back to history. This is why I really wish almost younger people really would get into politics so we can get over this generational stuff that's still hanging on to the 70s. But people say, oh, if you're white, you can't, you can't ever claim racism or, there is this difference, I guess. But Trudeau's been attacked nonstop since the beginning. There's no question about that, and I think I'm surprised he hasn't gotten more angry. Actually, he's kept his calm pretty well. I mean, I think most people are getting sick and tired of these protesters. They have to be. I mean, it's enough already, and I feel like they've been somehow, because they were allowed to protest, which they've never been protesters. They've been, exhibiting criminal behavior because they want the freedom to, infect other people, basically. um, so
Well, they've been
yeah,
able
no, but
to.
it's
They've been
becoming
able to. In fact, like, and it's misinformation. I don't know what's worse, the virus or the misinformation that's being spread around.
it's both.
You know what I
It's
mean? Like, it's just
both because both are
yeah.
killing people.
It's kind of like incredibly unfortunate that there's so much misinformation being spread around, and I think that's what gets me the most is even if you believed in the science and all this other stuff until this new stuff comes out. Now they're starting to talk about another variant. And all, and the misconception of, well, if you're vaccinated now, why are the numbers going up? Well, because the ones that aren't vaccinated are getting sick. And even before the vaccine, like once the vaccine started, we started seeing the numbers go down because the vaccine was starting to, work into an effect. But, I had somebody today on the Cranbrook page say, I got 4 nurses that are friends of mine, and I know they all got sick and they're in the ICU with vaccine, what the heck is that word I'm looking for?
Yeah, I mean there are a few vaccinated.
No, like
people
they're in the
getting sick,
ICU
but
and
they're
they've
not
got,
being,
they're
not
dying because they got the vaccine. I'm like, where's the proof? Especially you're gonna tell me this is happening in Cranbrook? Like in Cranbrook, we've got 4 nurses in the ICU all because they got vaccinated, and they've got vaccine, poisoning or whatever the hell she's trying to say it was, and I'm like,
yeah.
Wouldn't this kind of be in the news? Don't you think? Like,
yeah,
don't you think
there's
this
a
would
lot
kind of
of
be in the news?
lies and craziness. Like I say, there's so many lies and craziness going around. It's going around the world, but we've got a major fair share of it here. Even though we've got a good vaccination rate, we really do. We're still talking about millions of unvaccinated people who are filling up the hospitals and causing a lot of mayhem on the streets. But I feel like they've been treated too nicely, like from the very beginning. When they were protesting here, we had like lockdowns and we had curfews, and they were protesting curfews and they were yelling in people's faces. Especially, cops got sick because they're yelling and screaming during their protests, which is how you spread the virus. The protests were like super spreader events. I don't think you should have been allowed to have them.
Have they actually connected any of the cases? Like, have they connected any of the new COVID spread from any of these? Like, do they know for sure that any of these COVID cases are coming from these rallies? Do they know that? Like, are they connecting them with the COVID, with the contact tracing? I'd be interested to know that.
Yeah, I hope that there's so much research going on that there should be a good analysis, like about when spikes happen. Like I was noticing that after certain events, because it's like 2 or 3 weeks later, numbers would go up. But I wasn't following it like a researcher. It would take a researcher to really give a good analysis, a proper analysis, the right information.
Well, again, I hate to say this, but back to TikTok. Because like I've got these nurses, I'm on the side of TikTok. I guess there's other sides of TikTok. I don't know. I see a lot of native TikTok and I see a lot of healthcare TikTok because those are my interests. A lot of nurses, a lot of virologists, and doctors. And there's this one trans doctor that her name's Dr. Tiffany. And she's been getting a lot of hate, so she had to come out and do a video. She's transgender. She's amazing. She's fucking amazing. But she's a virologist in the States. She spent 20 years studying, right? So, I mean, these are the people, and I'm not telling you that these people are like just TikTok, Google MD doctors. They're not. These people show their credentials. There's another one called Dr. John. He's Canadian. There's Nurse Tough Love. She's out of the States. She's amazing. There's Rosie, who's not Rosie O'Donnell. She's Rosie the Moo Moo lady, Moo Moo Brigade. She's a teacher, actually. She's at EA or at EU. So all these people have their jobs that they're actually trained in. You can see another couple ER nurses that come on after their shifts, another ER doctor. And they've got their credentials right there. Like, they're not lying. They're not saying, hi, I'm Dr. Google from Arkansas, and I'm just going to sit here and make these stupid videos. These people came on TikTok specifically to educate people, especially the ones in the States. Because even though we're not, like, a lot of people don't watch any news. If you don't watch CNN or MSNBC or Fox even, I mean, I hate to say that because Fox has actually been keeping up with the COVID numbers because they are so bad in the States. If you aren't watching what's going on in the U.S., you're oblivious. And then today I've seen something that the Brits, they basically threw away they're not going to have vaccine passports and they've won their freedom and la la la. And I'm like, what? I've never heard anything about this. And all of a sudden this wasn't on the BBC, was it? So I have to look that up. In fact, I was going to. We'll look that up right now. Because I saw something about Britain giving up their British vaccine passports.
They feel like they have it all under control at this point, because that seems seems crazy. Like they're asking for trouble. Like you know what I wanted. You know what I thought was interesting in the news today was seeing like that video of Jason Kenney spreading misinformation about not worrying about younger people under 30. They don't need to be vaccinated. Did you see that?
No.
No
I guess
Alberta's
the UK has
no
ditched
wonder
England's vaccine passport plans have been ditched. I guess the plan to introduce vaccine passports for access to nightclubs and large events in England will not go ahead. In England, they've decided not to have vaccine passports.
And what was the reason?
Well, likely because fucking 99.9% of them are fucking vaccinated.
Yeah, well, that's actually good.
Like, you know what I mean? If you've got a vaccination rate that's fucking like 99.9% or whatever it is,
I mean,
you don't need vaccine passports.
Yeah, that's why France did it. When France mandated the passport, there was like, of course, a protest because that's what they do. But then apparently the numbers for vaccinations went way, 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 way up. And
Authorities in
it
Britain
motivated
decided
people
not
to
to
get vaccinated. I mean, that is the point of it. It's to motivate the ones who are whatever sitting on the fence, wanting to see if like people are gonna like grow a horn out of their head.
Oh, but here's the funny thing about it is though, they don't have to show a vaccine passport, but they have to show a negative COVID-19 test.
Okay, so
it's not without responsibility. It's not willy-nilly. We can just go running away. U-turn came just days after the British government vaccine minister and culture secretary suggested vaccine passports would still be necessary despite growing opposition from the lawmaking. I'm just trying to skim this quick, requiring people to show proof of vaccine or a recent negative test. Where generally aren't required to carry identification documents, passport preference, blah blah blah. I don't know. And is this CTV news? Huh?
You didn't see the video of Kenny today? Of him, someone took a video of him telling people that people under 30, it didn't matter if they didn't get the vaccination.
No.
It's pretty damaging, actually.
Where was that?
Such an idiot, and spreading misinformation. And no wonder Alberta's like COVID hell right now. It's no surprise.
You know what? It's because they belong to these evangelical fucking Christian churches. And I think I told the story about this the one time. Like,
and he does too. Like he's
Harper, Kenny, they all belong to the same fucking Victory Christian fucking church. It's like the Connect Church here. They're not really like who fucking calls a church the Connect Church? So what they do is these evangelicals get these pastors, they get online fucking paperwork to become a minister, and then they set up these goddamn fucking churches. So what the Connect Church did, and I'm not kidding you, and I've got actually an ex-person that used to go to this church that kind of validated this. Remember I said that we had a toilet paper shortage here, and at one point I said, I bet you it said goddamn Connect Church. They go in there every day and load up all the toilet paper, and they'll tell people if they need toilet paper, they can just come to their church to get it. That's exactly what they were doing. They would go and they'd send 4 or 5 of the little... No, I'm not kidding you, Loretta. This is exactly they would show up at the grocery stores. There would be 5 of them waiting for the grocery store to open every single day. They'd have 5 of their other church member minions, and they'd go and load up on 2, 2, and 2. And then they'd send this. Then they'd all take another trip over to the other store, and then they'd do this like until they cleared the shelves.
Wow. Wow.
So if you wanted
Yeah,
toilet paper,
not
you could
surprised.
call the Connect Church. They'd help you out, but of course, there's always strings attached once a church starts helping you out, right?
Yeah. That's for sure, babe. That is totally for sure.
Did I say that out loud? Yes, you did, because I'm such a fucking atheist. I don't even care. Okay, let's see. Did
Yeah.
you mean Jason Kennedy spreading misinformation will not bring COVID vaccine night? Where was that? Where was that? Did you see it like on TikTok, or I'd love to find that.
What the video of Kenny? I saw it on CBC. And another really interesting thing I saw on CBC today. You know how you told me that there were these anti-V's nurses from the Nurses Association or Federation? Well, they had a spokesperson on.
Oh, those Canadian for Federation of Nursing, and they're not.
Yeah,
they're a bunch of
and
quackpots, and she's from
all
the
of
States.
they want these nurses like gone. They don't even want them practicing because nursing is something that is it's one of the most trusted professions, and it is scientific evidence.
Okay, well, this is where we've gone sideways, because you've got all these naturopath doctors out there and homeopathic doctors out there and these homeopathic nurses out there, and you can take online courses and they take them for, I don't know, many a year, but you cannot prescribe pharmaceuticals, but they give you alternatives in herbs and oils and all kinds of different magnesium for your, over sulfur veins.
But if they're doctors, don't they have to, like, can't they also do both or whatever? Or, I mean, do they
A medical doctor can definitely do both, because a medical doctor's actually taken both. They've got their MD behind their name. When you're a homeopathic doctor, you have no medical fucking training at all. Zero.
Okay. Yeah.
What, you can take blood pressure? You send me home with a fucking fucking kit to take my own kid's blood? And then you got to send that blood off to a lab. You can't do a blood test yourself. You're going to send me home with a home blood testing kit for my son.
So you clearly have been in this situation. I hear you. But anyways, it was interesting because the CBC did a very lengthy interview with this nurse. And so a lot of, nurses across Canada are furious at these very few nurses who are standing with the anti-V's. And yeah, no, it's problematic. But I mean, we're talking about very few of them.
Oh, Trudeau lashes out at protesters who make sexist slurs about his wife.
Who does that?
Trudeau lashes out at protester who makes sexist slurs about his wife.
This is why I call them sociopaths. Like, they exhibit seriously sociopathic behavior by doing that kind of shit. I mean, that's just so revolting, so disgusting. That's why
they did. They had a huge protest in Calgary too.
Yeah. Yeah, they did today or yesterday.
They canceled surgeries today.
And yet people there who have brain tumors and need kidney transplants can't get their operations because of COVID. This is what's just so wrong about it. And these people don't
I can't
care.
believe this. I'm looking at this. I just want to fucking cry, because these people are standing outside the Foothills Hospital. The Foothills Hospital has a Tom Baker Cancer Center in it. Do people not get that? That in the fucking North Tower, that's all cancer fucking clinic. The only one they've got in Alberta that's decent. It's the best cancer clinic in the province. And you fucks are out there protesting in front of a fucking cancer fucking clinic.
They were doing it in Toronto too. People couldn't, women having babies couldn't get to the maternity ward without being harassed.
They were asked not to go. I wanted to go and counter protest. I imagine there was a bunch of asshats here too. I was going to go up near the hospital and drive around and look, and I just couldn't bring myself to even go. Because I didn't want to be part of the problem. Because if they were driving around honking their fucking horns, being an idiot, then if my car's like out there too, it just would be adding to the congestion.
They could be violent. Like they want. That's what's really concerning, is that they want to be violent, and that's what I've seen at these rallies with Trudeau. And that's why, that one time when his kids were on the bus, I mean, that's a trauma for them. And why would anybody want to get into politics being subjected to that kind of...
Oh my God, these idiots are comparing the vaccine passports to genocide. Like, are
But-
you fucking kidding me? And what do I see? White man. Oh, there's a brown girl. I don't know what the fuck she's on, standing next to a white man. She's obviously been colonized. White woman, white woman, white woman, white man, white man, white man, white man, white woman. That's what I'm seeing all in front of me. White, too brown. But I mean, even
like
the
white grievance, babe. It's totally, what it is, and I don't know what the solution is to it.
I know we gotta thank our sponsors and take a quick break.
Oh,
but
thank you,
holy
sponsors.
fuck, man! I'm just like, ah. Okay, we'll be right back. We'll be right back after you're listening to us live on paceradio.net.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
At Legacy 420, we believe in being different.
Experience the difference of quality control.
Our labs provide tested formulations for all of our products.
Experience the difference in trust.
Our customers can trust that we are following up-to-date COVID precautions for their safety.
Experience the difference in accessibility.
We're open 7 days a week. Please visit our website, legacy420.com, or contact us for curbside pickup as well as nationwide mail order shipping.
Legacy 420 values overall wellness.
Come and experience the difference of Legacy 420.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more. We've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
The People's Alliance of Cannabis in Canada is an organization working to improve cannabis legalization in Canada. They have a mission and values that includes all Canadians, no matter where they come from. The values are including everyone, as no one should be excluded from participating, equality, diversity, advocacy, along with cannabis education and research, plus industry, safety, and professional standards. If this is an organization that has the same values as you, check them out at peoplesallianceofcannabisincanada.ca. Once again, peoplesallianceofcannabisincanada.ca. Check them out.
What do you find at paceradio.net? People advocating cannabis education.
The People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network provides its listeners with news, information, and a place to be heard. This is done with a twice-weekly broadcast of the Reefer Reporters and by providing cannabis advocates a place to be heard through Cannabis and Coffee to Marijuana and the award-winning Pace Radio Show. Catch it all here at paceradio.net.
A doctor's job is to relieve your pains, and when it comes to growing cannabis, the biggest pain is trimming. Let Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions take the pain away. Whether you're a home grower or a commercial operation, we have the cure. From 4 plants to 400 plants, garden size doesn't matter. Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions comes to you with years of experience and professional discreet service. It's simple. We trim your weed, and we do a damn good job. Visit drbuckcts.com to book your trimming.
What is the People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network? It's a network of people advocating cannabis education.
CP operates a medicinal cannabis signing clinic. If you want to grow your own medicinal cannabis and are located anywhere in Canada, then I'd like to suggest that you give them a call. They can be reached at 1-613-967-9888. That's 1-613-967-9888, and grow on with CP.
Who has huge buds? You do. If you shop at BMA Hydroponics, attend one of BMA's educational seminars and learn the secrets of growing, harvesting, processing, and consuming quality cannabis and cannabis products. Learn how to make better extracts, edibles, and medicinal creams at prices you can afford. Visit BMA Hydroponics at 404 Maitland Drive, Belleville, or call 613-967-9888.
The only way to go.
We are People Advocating Cannabis Education here at paceradio.net.
About this, about O'Toole.
Yeah, you can talk about O'Toole. Okay, we're back. She's like, we'll talk about O'Toole. And I says, we got the commercials over.
I think the reason why he's slipping, I think two things are going on. I do think that the vote is being split by PPC, but also because he wanted to not turn off the anti-vaxxers. So he keeps saying, oh no, mandatory won't work. It has to be more education. Like, what more education
Okay, well,
do you really think
we
is
all
going to
know
work for
where
people
that.
who are determined not to get it?
Well, it's like I said, it's like trying to convince somebody that cannabis has got benefits. Like, I've been called a pothead. Yeah, you pothead. You know, when you go have another toke, sweetheart. This condescending piece of shit the other day on Facebook. That's what he said to me. Why don't you go have another toke, sweetheart? All fucking condescending. I'm like, yeah, man, thanks. What do you know, fuck. You know, you think calling me a pothead's an insult? No, like, it's not. Like, you're welcome. You got weed. Like, shut the fuck up, right? And I'm just so sick of these, like, you know, oh, you're a pothead. Like, that's an insult now? I mean, I've been called worse things than that. So, really, like, that doesn't hurt, dude. But I just... But yeah, like these condescending, misogynistic fucking men. And like I said, we have men coming into my candidate's office and berating her and calling her a fucking liar. You trust Trudeau? Some old, crusty white man.
I don't want to get into politics.
Well, it makes you kind of go, do I really want to do this? Especially in this fucking shitty fucking town with these shitty fucking people. And I hate to say that. I know it's not everybody. Like, I take that back because we've got a lot of decent people here in Cranbrook, too. I'm just like, you've got decent people in Montreal, too. Like, they're just some... Yeah. The minority of...
It's all of these people across Canada and here in Quebec, too. They are a minority. There's still too many of them, but they are a minority, and they're freaking out, and that's what they're doing. And they're being sociopathic. They're being violent. They're being obnoxious. They don't believe. They don't.
All I see is white fucking privileged colonizers. That's all I see. Seriously.
Yeah. Well, I see white grievance. I guess I don't. White privilege. Yes, it's definitely some of that, but it's white grievance, it's misinformation. It's like they've had this pent up anger at the rest of us for decades maybe, and now they feel really inspired and empowered. I don't know if it's because of the internet. This is one of the negative things about the internet maybe. They found each other, and they are causing a lot of problems.
Did you see that one video that I posted on TikTok? Probably not. Anyway, it's an anti-vax, anti-mask protest somewhere down in the States, and they're all dressed in white hazmat suits, wearing white masks, like the white, like not anonymous, but just a white mask, right? And the hazmat suit, and they've got it all covered around their face, and they've got these little signs, and it says, "You drank the Kool-Aid, you're a sheep," and they're all walking like in a wedding march, like around this building, and they're all dressed in white hazmat suit with white faces. And I said, that just kind of gives you the chill of the KKK. Are they going to go burn a cross when they're done? Like, you know what I mean? Like, just their point was, oh, we're wearing white hazmat suits and we're all just white because you're showing your fucking white bigoted fucking privilege, you fucks. Like, I just can't even anymore.
Yeah,
it gives me a brain tumor.
I don't know. Maybe it would be good to take a break from social media. I don't know what's. I mean, it's.
How can you? It's not even the social media aspect, like the TV, it's COVID,
yeah.
Or it's fucking Kabul. And I think that's another thing that really pisses me off when these fucking assholes are screaming about their freedoms when I'm watching shit where fucking women in Kabul are fighting for their rights and being stoned and whipped in the streets.
Oh, I know. The world there's so many places where it's bad, and it's bad there, obviously. I know it's brutal. I know that's brutal. There's so much suffering and pain. It's true. I mean, and people I know are having like some serious mental health issues. I think people we all are.
Oh, we're not even going to go there. Because, yeah, I
Well,
just
we
can't.
are.
Because there's so many unwell people out there, and then they want to bring their grievance to fucking, to others that have children and lives and everything else, and it's just like, stop it. Just stop. Go get the help that you need. There's all kinds of resources out there. But don't bring your nuttiness, like, especially if it's violent and harmful to yourself and somebody else. So please, go get the help that, I'm sure that you need. And that's all I'm going to say about that, because there is a lot of people out there struggling.
I hope all the billions of dollars that the government's making from cannabis does go to, that a big chunk of it can go to mental health, because we need like 100
Well, somebody said it's all going to their
so
community
more.
state safety, whatever people. Well, you know what? They don't have it. Like, I don't know about what you were saying. They got language police in Montreal. Like, here in British Columbia, I haven't heard about a raid or a bust or anything in like almost like I can't even remember the last time I've heard about a raid. Any regulations that are being handled out here as far as the stores or anything like that are all being done by the Liquor Control Board, which is the same liquor inspectors that we've had here. I think they actually had to hire an extra liquor control person that goes, like, they go to the bars, they go to the liquor stores, they go to like anywhere that serves alcohol, right? Well, now they've just got to make a stop in all the dispensaries or the cannabis stores to make sure that they're not. I don't know. It looks like it's pretty strict. When I go in there, they've got everything has to be like barcoded, and it goes through a computer, and you pay by whatever, and it's all computerized. I don't think anybody can do anything that they're not supposed to. But I know that the Liquor Control Board is handling it, so it's added a few more jobs. But everybody's saying all our taxes are going to these crime safety units. What crime safety units? I don't see them, and I don't hear about them busting people because they're just not. That's just not true. This is not true.
Yeah. Here, in terms of the language police, I don't know how much they actually do, but a restaurant bar that is by a friend of mine's house, it just recently got targeted. It just seems crazy to have this happening at
But
this
Quebec,
point.
like I said, like really, like I hate to say it, but even like Blanchette there, like he really blew it with that fucking like showed himself.
It probably he was actually doing poorly in the polls, but it boosted him. He was
because
doing
you guys are
poorly.
going.
People were saying that he's negative all the time. He's arrogant. These things, but there is something about when Quebecers feel like they are being told they're a racist. It just has this trigger. It needs
But
a different approach.
but they are racist.
Well, we all are across the country, and I would say, I'm going to say that.
But no other province has a law that's trying to go into effect to, like, I mean, but I'm not standing up for religious practices in any way, shape, or form. You know that, because I do not believe that there should be any religion in politics of any shape or education, unless you're specifically taking religious studies. But I also don't think that there should be a law that says that you cannot wear your burqa or your symbol of religious whatever. Yeah, and if you're a teacher or you're a nurse or the RCMP fought for that, like the Sikhs fought to be able to wear their turban and whatever in the RCMP, right? For fucking, it was like 3 decades ago.
I was gonna say, like, exactly, like that was,
and that's a federal law. So I don't understand what Quebec figures is gonna become of this.
But look at what Trudeau did. I mean, the thing is, he doesn't, he's never gonna take on Quebec, and he basically said he was surprised at the question. I mean, she didn't say racist; she said discriminatory. That's the thing that struck me. And then there was this reaction, and Trudeau was like defending Quebec, and he said he didn't like the law, but he was just shocked that that the question was asked, and I'm like, why, right? But it's this.
Well, I think the fact
actually,
that
Rosemary Barton had this woman on from the press. and she was upset because she's been trying to do stuff around these bills, saying they're wrong, and she gets called a Quebec basher, even though she was born and raised there. And she obviously it speaks French, and she writes for La Presse. So she was trying to explain it because I was just baffled, honestly, um, that it was perceived as the way it was taken. And since that event, since that debate, Blanchette's numbers have risen because Quebecers feel like they were always under attack by the rest of Canada and called, and they feel like they're being told they're inferior because they're not like the rest of Canada. It just seems to like go.
So they're playing the
in a
victim
way that I don't.
because
I
you know.
honestly don't.
But here's from the Westerns' perspective, because I'm out here. All we hear is wah wah wah. What about us? We have to be separate. We have to be better. We are better than all of you. We want more.
But their perspective is you're always pointing fingers at us like we're inferior. Like it goes back to.
But the thing is, they think they're inferior, and we think that you guys think you're better, or not you
no,
guys.
well,
You know,
they would say the same thing. That's the thing. It's like
nobody's communicating. They just don't understand.
Well, I just feel like this is why I just wish the younger generation would step up, because I do feel like this is a bit of a hangover from the 70s when things got really nasty.
It's not the FLQ anymore, guys. Like, come on, really?
I know, but it's lingering. It lingers.
Because Blanchette fucking keeps it fucking firing. Well, and that's what pisses me off about him. Is that, you know what, if you didn't have a politician in there, the La Bloc Québécois feeding the fire instead, it's the same with the Indigenous. If you have people feeding the fire all the time, the fire is never going to get fucking put out. You can't mediate with people that do not want to mediate with you. You cannot mediate with La Bloc because they are a separatist party and they are never going to stop it.
Sure, but I mean, they were almost wiped out a few elections ago. I think they had 1 or 2 seats.
They should have been wiped out. We should be working with Quebec to be Quebec.
And then they sprung back because people were mad at Trudeau. I don't even know why, honestly. And they basically, they sucked all the votes away from the NDP, right? So I mean, it's just the politics is fickle in Quebec, like for sure. I mean, it is everywhere, but if they, it's emotional. And that's why, like, when Trudeau got emotional during the French debate against Blanchet, that moment, that was like a perfect moment for Trudeau to rise up in the polls, because Quebecers like the emotional part, it seems. But if they feel even slightly attacked, that's where the Bloc will always succeed. So, it's just like, I thought it was a good question today in the Globe and Mail. Why was Blanchet even at the English debate when he obviously would never represent all of Canada? But it makes sense he'd be at the French debate, of course.
Because the mediator asked him, so what would you do if you were Prime Minister of Canada? He goes, I'm never going to be Prime Minister of Canada. You know what I mean? Like, he admitted it. It was just like, why are you even on the stage if you're just going to stand there and say, and he's walking around looking. But he admitted, he said, I will never be Prime Minister of Canada.
Right. So, but he feels, he's there for Quebec and Quebec only. He makes that clear. He doesn't hide that. I mean, in many ways, he's transparent about his agenda.
So
his agenda is to separate.
But don't you already have a premier? And that's the thing. Like, you've
well,
already got Legault.
Competing, and then look what the premier does. I mean, he
goes and asks, like, fucking
really gets me. He says they're not a conservative party, but then he endorses O'Toole just because he can't stand Trudeau. It's just, that part really got
What is he trying to do, cut his nose off?
Well, he's riding high in the polls, and that.
Yeah, he also just signed a $6 million deal or $6 billion deal with the federal government for more money for their fucking childcare program. So he should be kissing Trudeau's ass.
Well, this is like, as I said.
So he gets O'Toole in. He's going to lose all that fucking Kingo Bingo, buddy. And that's what's going to happen.
Well, when I watched Trudeau, he doesn't stand up for us Anglos, that's for sure, in Quebec.
But he's not an Anglo either.
I know,
he
but
is,
I'm
but he's
just
not.
saying we are, we deserve some human rights too. And so to say that this bill is a discriminatory, I don't know how that. We're waiting for the Supreme Court, so we're not supposed to, say, well, I have feelings too, and it does feel discriminatory to me.
Well, look at the pot one too. The pot cannabis one was kicked back too. Remember, Al sent us that link.
Yes.
Where is it? Report. Quebec reports.
Well, it's basically on the money, isn't it?
$136.5 million in sales the first quarter of cannabis. And then here's another one.
Yeah, so they should be.
No job, no pay. Quebec gives healthcare workers a deadline. Okay, what is this one? Yeah, $136.5 million.
Yeah, they're making lots of money, and so they're not speaking negative about cannabis like they used to, because of course they love the money, and all of them do across the country. But I have a friend who
Court of Appeal sides with
I have
Quebec
a friend
on
who's
homegrown.
very upset these days.
So yeah,
He
you
got
guys
one
still
of the
can't. You
fines
still can't grow pet
smoking
cannabis
on the street, and yeah, no, it's just like it's really unfortunate. So someone is coming after the show tonight to bring me more signatures. I think I got about 175 signatures for my petition.
We used to be working on this too. The Court of Appeal sides with Quebec on homegrown ban.
What's that?
The homegrown ban in Quebec didn't go through.
Meaning the ban is over, or
Court of Appeal sides with Quebec on homegrown ban. Next step is Supreme Court. Quebec Court of Appeal has sided with the Quebec government this week on province's ban on homegrown cannabis.
I thought it was already going to the Supreme Court.
This was September 3rd, 2021. This is a brand new article that was just sent. Yes, this was September 3rd.
I don't know how the Supreme Court can say no. It just doesn't make any sense.
No, the Quebec judge, the judge decides to reverse it. Okay, so this is what the judge decision reverses the Supreme Court ruling in 2019 that said the ban on Quebecers growing their own cannabis was in violation of federal law. So it's already gone to the Supreme Court of Quebec, and the Supreme Court of Quebec is holding up the appeal for the government. So basically, they went back to court. Now they're going to have to go to the Supreme Court of Canada if they take it any farther. The leader of the council for the man who is challenging the ban says a planned appeal again, but this time to the Supreme Court. So it has to go to another. There's the Supreme Court of Canada and the Supreme Court of Quebec. So
and how can the Supreme Court of Canada say no? They can't. But
well, they can.
This is where Quebec will say they're telling us what to do. This is how it'll
Well, like I said, the Court of Appeal sided with its client, but he seems there's nonetheless. So the thing of it is, the guy won the case, right? Allowing the people in Quebec to actually be able to grow, and the government appealed it.
Yeah.
And now the judge has overturned the guy's win in favor of the government. So that'll be another precedent study case. Huh? Pardon?
Sending it to the federal Supreme Court.
If the plaintiff chooses, which will be the guy that is the plaintiff, the government doesn't have to do anything. The government's now won again. So now the plaintiff, who's the guy that originally, started the claim, has to take it to the Supreme Court of Canada, which is expensive.
I hope the guy has money and will do that, because that just seems so wrong. And that is something I would hope that many Quebecers would feel indignant about, the fact that they can't grow 4 plants. I mean, the ones, of course, that I talk to always are, and they're always shocked that everywhere else, you can, but not in Quebec. And I think
this
also
guy's name's Lavoie. Jesse Lavoie.
Jesse Lavoie, I'd love to meet him. If you're out there, Jesse Lavoie, and you hear this, let's have a...
This is Manitoba's homegrown ban challenge. So there was a guy from... Okay, so this is Jesse Lavoie. Who's the guy from Quebec? Let's see.
Oh, Jesse Lavoie is not from Quebec?
It says Manitoba. Maybe he's from Manitoba, but... I'm just reading quick.
I mean, this is just ridiculous that Quebecers can't grow 4 plants, or Manitobans.
Manitoba's was also banned. And
What's
I guess
that?
Manitoba, you can't grow 4 plants in either, apparently.
Yeah, so it's Quebec and Manitoba. It's just
so Manitoba as well has sided with the government. And this Jesse Lavoie plans on taking it to response to filed today in Manitoba court aim to get a look at these concerns. So this guy's on his first legal battle between closed-minded thinking and progressive, says Lavoie. I think we'll see victory. So Lavoie in Manitoba is that's the first one there. And I can't get the name of the guy from Maxime Guerin, 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 but it's Guerin. I think Maxime.
Okay, cool.
Guerin,
All right.
I think Maxime. So that's from Quebec. So there's 2 plaintiffs. They said, but one from Montreal or from Quebec and one from Manitoba. So yeah, so those are 2 provinces in Canada that you can't legally grow cannabis for 4 plants. Where I am, I can.
And look, I have a friend who was fined $150 for smoking on the street. He's had issues with his landlord for the smell of cannabis. You know, for some people like him, he just feels like his life is so much worse since legalization. He can't get a job in the industry because, you know, you have to be connected and you can't have any record or anything. Like, it's just like, it's just wrong. It's so
I want to find out who this
But
disgusting
it's really,
human is.
You know, it's the provincial government who's done that. That's Legault. But, you know, he's not popular in Montreal. Montreal has half the population of Quebec and Montreal, but the way the ridings are, Montreal almost doesn't really matter. He doesn't have to win in Montreal. He just has to win outside. It just sucks that it's not, you know, fair representation of voting, like, because Montreal then is always, you know, fucked over, and we'll probably have a go again. And it's
I just
really
can't even believe, like I said, that whole religious symbols ban. Like I said, I'm not big on religion. I don't think religion should be in any way, shape, or form.
I don't like any religion either. I'm a total pagan
But I just think
bitch.
that's racist.
You know,
There's just no way of getting around that. That's just race. It just screams bigotry. It does. It just screams racism. And then
there is. Allow people to practice their religion, then you're just gonna.
Well, the thing is, does that mean that the indigenous people? But here's where I'm going with this, Loretta. If he's banning that for hijabs and anything else that's religious symbol, does that mean a feather in an indigenous woman's hair is going to be considered you know what I mean? Or earrings, or braids, or, you know, the beaded work that they, you know, and beautiful jewelry.
You know, someone's turban, like Jamie's
right?
saying.
Or somebody's ribbon skirt. So this is where I'm going with that. Like it might just look like it's religious symbolism now because of the hijab and whatever in schools for public work, whatever it's for federal workers or provincial workers or whatever it is, that they have their working. But how many doctors and teachers and nurses and everything else that are Muslim or that are...
A lot of people left the province because of it, and that's why I'm baffled. Because I found, did you watch the English debate? Like, I thought the way
I watched some of it. I didn't watch all of it because I can't stand.
I thought the way she asked the question was very gentle. Like the way you and I are talking about it is like, you know, 10 times more harsh. But they had a freak out. Blanchette had a freak out. Legault had a freak out, demanding apologies, and Trudeau was like, he responded like, you know, it's just Quebec. I don't know what to say. Like it's hard to understand. I have a hard time understanding it because
I want to make this bitch famous.
I feel like, yes, we're a country that has a lot of racism, and yes, of course, it's across the country. But these are policies that, okay, at the very least, yes, they're discriminatory. And, you know, maybe we could have a debate one day or in certain corners about whether they're racism or not. But, I mean, they're definitely discriminatory. But, you know, Trudeau was like, he doesn't want to say that. He doesn't say that. He says, like, he immediately goes to Quebec's defense saying, Quebecers are not racist. Like he, you know, no, and of course, no one is saying that all Quebecers are racist. We're just talking about the policies that are discriminatory, and why do we have them? That's what we're talking about. But that is perceived as saying that all Quebecers are racist. That's how it gets interpreted. That seems to be like, unless I miss something, but that seems to be. And then if you say, and what? Okay, so we're waiting for the Supreme Court to say whether or not the Supreme Court won't say they're racist. The Supreme Court will say whether or not they're discriminatory. I think we know what they're going to say, but then what? So what? Quebec's going to have a reaction like, yeah, you see, the Supreme Court says we're, I don't know. I don't feel like you can. How do you go forward with that? I don't know. I feel like I'm missing something. I get it that Quebec was, really oppressed by the Catholic Church. Yes, it was 100%. They knocked on people's door and told them to have, more children. It's disgusting. It was immoral what they did. So I got to understand that it comes from that place, but how it comes from that place. However,
well, that's how colonization kind of worked across the board. Like the church, stole other people's babies and told white people to have more babies. You know what I mean? They stole the indigenous babies to make them so they could turn into like nice little Christians, and then they went to the Christian families and told them to procreate and keep having more babies, and don't believe in abortion and don't believe in birth control and just keep procreating and procreating and procreating. And oh my fucking God. Like it just, but that's a whole other show because we've run out of time.
And religion sucks. We
I just can't even
we both agree on that one, eh? Pagan bitch.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
Pagan bitch.
Well, I think that's what it is. I think that I just see how much they've taken from the earth. They've taken from people. They've taken, and it doesn't matter where you look. It all seems to be Christian basic. Even this other, like I said, this other creator that I watch on TikTok, she's a virologist, but she worked in Uganda. And she has 2 children that she adopted from Uganda because she can't have children of her own. And her little girl has like no hands and arms, and she's just a beautiful little child. And they're POC, right? They're not Caucasian. She is, but the children are not. And they live in Edmonton, okay? So she gets a lot of and backlash because of that. But what she will tell you, she used to be very involved in a born-again Christian evangelical church. And they were sent over there to help the people by the church. And then she watched the church people, missionaries, living in luxury and using the people as pretty much servants. And she couldn't do it anymore. So she no longer follows this church that she was involved in that actually got her, if you even look at her bio, she went to a Bible college before she went on to, the University of Alberta to get her medical degree. And you know what I mean? But yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people have had that kind of trajectory where they were religious.
So where I'm going with this is with the church that she belongs to exploits these people to get them to believe, and this has been ongoing for centuries. It's always been the white Christians or we're talking like from the Crusades probably, right? Like from that point where the Crusades started, where they were going to start, changing the whole world.
I mean, look, she was intelligent enough and walked away from it. A lot of people that I know have, but definitely, obviously, there's a lot who haven't still.
Yeah.
And Quebec is scarred from the Catholic Church, and that is part of why they have this ban. But it just seems like, there's some disconnect too. And again, I just feel like the answer is, can we just get some young people in there?
I think the young people are great, but I think some of them are also being led in the wrong direction too. They're listening to a lot of QAnons and conspiracy theories, and it's a lot of young people falling down that rabbit hole too.
Well, because it's a mental illness, and maybe religion is too. I don't know. Cults are.
No, you know what? Stop it. Stop giving fucking bad behavior a mental fucking health fucking diagnosis. Because that's where I'm at with that too. I'm just like, you know what? I'm Gen X, you're older than I am. If we would have acted like half these little, we would have got a smack upside the head and told to sit down, shut up, and get on with life. And now we've got to have a diagnosis for BPD or OBD or DDD or DDA or like shut up and fucking get on with life. Like seriously, I'm gonna be Howard Stern today.
But there is something, why do people get so?
Because they're selfish, narcissistic little fucks. That's why.
Well, isn't that a mental illness?
Apparently, no, it wasn't. But now it is. That's what I mean. Now it is. So now all of a sudden you've got excuses for people. It wasn't that not mental. It wasn't 20 years ago, but now it is. We've got to give some sort of diagnosis for bad behavior.
Understand it, like why people are drawn to it. Like why would anyone be drawn to QAnon? Well, obviously there's something in their personality that's starving for some kind of attention or something or belonging that they don't feel like they get.
Well, it's like a cult, right? So I guess if they want to join, it's the same as people that join cults. They're all looking for something to believe in. They're all looking for something that's bigger than themselves. They're all looking for something to, follow. Well, how about make sandwiches and take them to the homeless and follow that? Like, you know what I mean? How about following your own heart and believing in yourself rather than believing in some fucking deity that just wants in your pocketbook? Because, you can get higher to heaven the more money you pay. You know what I mean?
People are weak. We're weak humans.
Right? Okay, we better stop. We better stop and, Okay, well, thanks for having another sesh with me, bitches. And you guys all have a great night, great week. We'll be back next week. Maybe. Yeah, we'll be back next week. Okay, so. Okay. Night, everybody.
Think about those nights in Montreal. All I think about is sweet.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
At Legacy 420, we believe in being different.
Experience the difference of quality control.
Our labs provide tested formulations for all of our products.
Experience the difference in trust.
Our customers can trust that we are following up-to-date COVID precautions for their safety.
Experience the difference in accessibility.
We're open 7 days a week. Please visit our website, legacy420.com, or contact us for curbside pickup as well as nationwide mail order shipping.
Legacy 420 values overall wellness.
Come and experience the difference of Legacy 420.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
The People's Alliance of Cannabis in Canada is an organization working to improve cannabis legalization in Canada. They have a mission and values that includes all Canadians, no matter where they come from. The values are including everyone, as no one should be excluded from participating, equality, diversity, advocacy, along with cannabis education and research, plus industry, safety, and professional standards. If this is an organization that has the same values as you, check them out at peoplesallianceofcannabisincanada.ca. Once again, peoplesallianceofcannabisincanada.ca. Check them out.
What do you find at paceradio.net? People advocating cannabis education.
The People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network provides its listeners with news, information, and a place to be heard. This is done with a twice-weekly broadcast of the Reefer Reporters and by providing cannabis advocates a place to be heard through Cannabis and Coffee to Marijuana and the award-winning Pace Radio Show. Catch it all here at paceradio.net.
A doctor's job is to relieve your pains. And when it comes to growing cannabis, the biggest pain is trimming. Let Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions take the pain away. Whether you're a home grower or a commercial operation, we have the cure. From 4 plants to 400 plants, garden size doesn't matter. Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions comes to you with years of experience and professional discreet service. It's simple. We trim your weed and we do a damn good job. Visit drbuckcts.com to book your trimming.
What is the People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network? It's a network of people advocating cannabis education.
CTCP operates a medicinal cannabis signing clinic. If you want to grow your own medicinal cannabis and are located anywhere in Canada, then I'd like to suggest that you give them a call. They can be reached at 1-613-967-9888. That's 1-613-967-9888, and grow on with CTCP.
Who has huge buds? You do. If you shop at BMA Hydroponics, attend one of BMA's educational seminars and learn the secrets of growing, harvesting, processing, and consuming quality cannabis and cannabis products. Learn how to make better extracts, edibles, and medicinal creams at prices you can afford. Visit BMA Hydroponics at 404 Maitland Drive, Belleville, or call 613-967-9888.
The only way to go.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.